Fantastic. Interesting Facebook. I like the game that you're playing. For everyone else, you might not even see the start of this because I do tend to cut it off. But welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Today we are talking about time. We're talking about those little 24 hours that each of us have in a day. And ideally, what I'm going to be talking about is how to help you find some of those additional hours in your own day. No more than 24, because that's all you've got, and that's one of the points I'll be making. But how to actually find time within your business to work on the business rather than just in the business. Now, you may have heard that phrase before. It's an oldie but a goodie. We are working often in the business, in the production of the business, in the speaking to the clients of the business, the creation of sales. All these things are inside the business. It's not just production, it's sales and all the other things around it too. For some reason, my Apple ID is popping up. I've got all sorts of things going on here, which is fantastic, but we'll just put that to the side. There are lots of things that we do inside the business. They help the business to operate. But it's interesting that as business owners and business operators, if we want the business to grow, and if we want the business to grow in a fashion that has some form of control, some form of design, we actually need to step back and spend some time on the business so we can be sure that we are sending it in the direction it needs to go. Now, those on the business activities can be anything from reviewing what's currently happening, deciding strategy, deciding some next steps, or maybe putting some programs in place to make those things happen. But those on the business tasks become on the business tasks become incredibly important if we're wanting to grow. Because otherwise we just move from day to day. We wake up, we work, we eat, we see the family, we go to sleep, and we run on that cycle. And it could be 10 years before we wake up to the fact that we actually could have had some control over it. So today, ideally, what we're going to be talking about is how to find that time. So the first thing I'd like us to talk about is to understand that every single one of us has 24 hours. Now, I'm not going to labor on this fact, but whether you are on the street, which I doubt it, maybe you're on the telephone street, on the street, right? You are there like you're homeless. Who knows, right? You could actually be the case, because I've spoken to plenty of homeless people who've actually watched a lot of my content. You have 24 hours in the day. Now, what are you going to do with those 24 hours? I can understand if you're in a situation where you feel like survival is going to be the best bet, which is kind of like the day-to-day activities in the business, that's where you're going to focus, because there are people who are watching this that are thinking about starting a business. But if you are in business, right, you have the same amount of time, 24 hours, as the people who are running SpaceX. So Elon Musk, 24 hours. The guy who's running Amazon, right? The guy who's running Microsoft. I don't even know who that is now, because other people have left the business. But you still have that same 24 hours. So the question I'd like you to ask around the 24 hours is not to make an excuse and go, well, that person has a lot of time, that person has a lot of, because they have a lot of money and because they have a lot of people. I want you to look at how did they get to that position where they had a lot of money and had a lot of time, have a lot of money and people, so that they could actually take care of more activities and generate more outcomes within that same amount of time, right? Well, number one, the main way they actually did that is they understood the value of their own time. So that's the main thing that I really want to discuss today, is are you valuing your own time? Do you understand how important that time is? And that it's actually one of the most important things in your business. In fact, probably the most important thing in your business. So if you run out of time, funnily enough, you're going to run out of your opportunities to actually steer, direct, or do anything on the business. Now, where is that premise coming from? Well, there's the old adage that 4 out of 5 businesses go out of business, right? That they fail within 5 years. And I've seen that in practice actually happening in my last 25 years of working with businesses. But it's not. It's very rarely because of some financial hiccup. It's very rarely because of some government regulation that comes in and actually changes the landscape. Because people can adapt if they continue to take steps forward. So if you, as the business owner, or if business owners out there, are able to take more steps, the business does not fail. if they are able to operate, even if they can't pay themselves, right? But they can actually take another step. They can engage more clients. They can get deposits on work that's yet to be done. There's all sorts of things that you can do. But if you can take another step as the owner and the driver, the person who is the person behind the momentum in the business, then your business will never fail. So looking after you becomes job number one. Once you've got job number one done, you can go, all right, well, now where am I going to spend my time? So some evidence around this problem of not valuing your time. Let's pick a scenario. You've got your number one client. Your number one client's got a very important meeting with you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. All right, well, let's say that's the premise. And client number two, so they're still a really good client, but their second best client comes along and goes, I really need to speak to you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. If you know that you need to be in this appointment with your best client, are you going to give up the best client's time and give it over to the second best? It is unlikely that that's going to be the case. All right. But what I see business owners do every single day is they take the most important person in their business, which is you, and they take the appointment that they've set with themselves to work on strategy, or the appointment they've set themselves to review the business, or the appointment they've set themselves to design the next growth plan. They take that time, and a client comes in and goes, oh, I actually want to speak to you at that point in time. They go, oh, okay. They give them the time, and then they put everything else behind. They put everything else to the side. They actually devalue the most important person in their business by valuing the client above the owner and driver of the business. And by doing that, they keep putting their plans off. And they put their plans off until they find themselves a year or 2 years down the road going, that thing that I was going to be doing, I really need to be going and doing that now. I feel like I've lost the last 2 years. And I don't know if you've ever felt that, but I certainly have, where I've gone and looked at my plans and gone, this is something that I meant to do 2 years ago, and I didn't do it because I put other things in the way. I prioritized other things over the growth of my own business, and therefore slowed the growth of my business and actually avoided the opportunities and the success that could very well have come from certain businesses where I made that mistake. And so understanding that you are the most important person in your business is number one. After you have 24 hours, what are you going to do with that 24 hours? You're the most important person in your business. So set appointments with yourself means setting them with the most important person in your business, and you don't move them. All right? Do not move appointments with you. If you're doing that, you're undervaluing the business, and I would not be surprised if you're doing that in other areas of the business as well. Are you underselling your own expertise? Are you underselling the value of your time? Are you understating, undervaluing the value of your outcomes? It's likely that you are if you're actually giving up your own appointments with yourself and avoiding the opportunity to grow your business. So, number one, you're the most important person in your business. So act like it. Keep appointments with yourself. If you're going to set them with the most important person in the business, then keep them with the most important person in your business. Guess what? It's not clients, it's not team, it's not suppliers, it's you. Now, number two, this is a great one because there are so many other clients. So on one side, we've got business owners who are devaluing their time. And on the other side, they're devaluing the opportunity of failure for their team. What do I mean by that? It sounds a little bit weird and complex. So I'll step back. Let's say you get a new team member on and you've walked through the process of training them into do a certain step. All right, you've shown them how. They've then modeled it and they've shown you that they can do it. All right, so you got feedback. You then allow them to do the job. And you see them about to mess it up. Have you ever stepped in and saved them? Have you ever stepped in and gone, look, I'll just do that. It's going to be faster. In the process of doing that, what you've done is you've stolen their responsibility and their opportunity to develop, grow, and get better. You've stolen the experience. So by doing that, not only do you steal their opportunity to get better, which actually in turn stops you from getting time back in the future, because if they can't get better, you're not getting the time back. But on the flip side, you've actually taken that time that they could have been doing it and you've added it to your own plate. So you haven't just devalued your time, you've devalued your employee, and then you've actually doubled up the task to devalue both of your time, right? So please stop stealing responsibility from other people. As long as you've trained them, as long as you've shown them how, as long as you've got feedback that they know how, allow them to do the job. Allow them to fail from time to time and then give feedback as you need so that they can get the experience and they can get the improvement they need. Now, obviously, the thing that goes with that is encouragement, positive reinforcement, and all the other things that a great manager will do. But you need to, from time to time, allow people to take responsibility, because if they can never take responsibility, they'll never take responsibility for the role that you have actually positioned for them. All right, so you've got to allow people to do that. So don't steal other people's responsibility would be number 2. So we've all got 24 hours in a day. You are the most important person in your business. And being the most important person in your business, you're going to stop stealing responsibility from other people. Okay, great. We're of an understanding. So if you are the most important person in your business and you've only got 24 hours in a day, what are you going to do with that 24 hours? So this is the last point I'm going to make. What are you going to do with that 24 hours? Are you going to just live in that 24 hours and as challenges, opportunities, and problems come at you, you're going to address them? Well, you could, but anyone who's experienced client spot fires that are endlessly happening, if anyone's experienced team spot fires that are endlessly happening, usually it's because of 2 reasons. Number 1, you're stealing responsibility from them, which we've already talked about. And number 2, you don't have anything better to do. So, if you haven't heard of a default diary is a diary that has certain specific areas that are blocked out for business activities. Now, some of that's going to be working in the business. I understand that. For some businesses, there'll be production elements that need to be done. There'll be client calls, there'll be feedback, there'll be team reviews, all the different things that need to be in there. But there should also be working on the business activities programmed into your diary. In fact, the best way to look at it is to step back and go, what are the big must-do activities in my year, my month, and my week that I will default put into my diary and make an appointment with the most important person in my business. By doing that, what it does is it actually takes away your time. You have less time to spend on idle things. You have less time to be rescuing everybody and stealing responsibility. And so by having less time, it means that you're going to be doing less things you shouldn't be and actually spending time in your default diary, in the things with the most important person in your business, doing the things that you said that you would do. So blocking out your diary to allow for those things to happen and then keeping those appointments is the best thing you can be doing to grow your business. Now, if you've never done anything like this before, you might want to take a very simple step in. And that simple step might be, all right, I'm going to get my diary. And if you don't have an electronic diary, then you can use a manual diary, but I'd suggest you get an electronic one because it's easier to move things around. And you put in an hour, just an hour in the week. An hour where every week you can dedicate and focus 1 hour to working on the business. Now, I don't know what task is going to happen in that time, but there'll be something each week that you can do in that period of time to increase the opportunities of the business, to increase the capacities of the business, to grow the business. That's what that hour is all about. Now, if that's all you can spare, that's all you can spare. But my first business that I first got some coaching on, so someone actually came in and coached me in my business. I was earning $80,000 a year at the time, and that coach, simply by putting default diaries in my business, enabled me to grow to $300,000 within less than 2 years. And I did that by being very clear that that time that I need to focus on is specifically for growing the business. Now, what you'll find over time is that you can start to break things up and you go, all right, this hour is for marketing growth, not marketing that I'm doing on a daily or a weekly basis, because that's just part of the business. New marketing activities or new marketing initiatives, right? New design, new strategy. Then this hour of the business is for review. I am going to review how we're going. And I'm going to assess whether this is working, whether it's not, do we need to adjust anything? Okay. This hour of the business is to potentially speak to an advisor that you engage with on a regular basis so you can see the forest for the trees. That's the reason I have my own coach. I have multiple advisors actually for the different areas of my business where I want to grow. And so I have dedicated time with them, which is my time with the most important person in my business, so that I can focus on growth in those specific areas. Right? Some of it is how do I actually do advisory better? I have a coach for that. Others is how do I actually go about selling more opportunities for my clients? How do I market myself and position myself out there in the industry? Now, funnily enough, it sounds like I can't speak right now because I had the hiccups. But I've been doing marketing and sales work for the last 25 years. I still use a coach because I know that communication, which is the essence of all marketing and sales, isn't a skill you master. It's a skill that endlessly gives you the opportunity to get better. And so what areas are you going to focus on in your business? What are the little hours that you're going to put in as a default within your business that are not just production? You may have an hour in the diary that's about, all right, that's my bookkeeping hour. That's my reconciliation hour. Maybe that's what you do if you don't have someone on to do those reconciliations. At least you understand where you're at any time financially in your business. Very important step. But what I would suggest is that no matter what you put into the diary, make sure you're at the very least starting with 1 hour of working on the business activities. And you might actually focus in that hour and say, this hour I'm going to use to dedicate myself to get 2 hours, right? And then I'm going to use this 2 hours to get 4 hours. And that's how, in the end of the day, I actually have 3 days a week that I get to focus on the business style activities, which actually enabled me to grow and change the business as I see fit to give me ideally the lifestyle that I want. That's the coolest thing. You can actually set yourself up to have a 4-day week, for instance, but you need to do that through giving yourself these little chunks of time to work on creating a business that enables you to do that. Because it's not just about having a 4-day-a-week business that's not giving you the income you want. Yeah, you've got plenty of time, but you've got nothing you can do with the time, right? You haven't had the choices. So how do you get the income you want, to get the lifestyle you want, to get the time you want, and have all those choices? Well, it's by concentrating on a couple of very simple things, and that's what we've talked about today. Number one, you've all got 24 hours in a day. I've got 24 hours a day. If I didn't get born today, or if I'm not going to die today, cross my fingers, then I've got 24 hours in the day. We can all agree. We've all got the same amount of time. So what are we going to do with it? Number two is, who is the most important person in your business? Guess what? It's you. If you stop running in the business stops running. So you've got to focus on you, which means stop breaking appointments with yourself. All right? Number three is stop stealing other people's responsibilities. Let them get on and do the things that they've been paid to do. You've engaged them for a certain task. Allow them to take responsibility of it. And number four, make sure you're filling your time with purpose. You've got purposeful time in your diary each week with the most important person in the business, so you don't move those diary calendar appointments, where you can focus on growing the different areas of your business. If you start doing that, guess what? You're no longer going to have spot fires. You're no longer going to find yourself rescuing everybody. You're not going to feel overwhelmed, right? You're going to get rid of the whole overwhelm, because even if you've just made 1 hour in the week where you get to review, step back and look at your business from a third-party point of view, you get an opportunity to actually take a breath and say, is this working the way I want? We reduce overwhelm. We definitely reduce burnout. And by putting into the diary key things that are allowing you as the most important person to recharge through your week, that's how you go about getting time back. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling a little stuck, ideally take these ideas. If you can't see the forest for the trees, if you can't see how you can make it happen, then put your hand up. Go, Russell, I just want to talk to someone. I want to get a sense of how I can start putting these things into place. I do want to grow my business. I just feel I'm spinning my wheels. And you might not be able to see that you're spinning your wheels because you're actually stuck on a branch. It's more like, we just take the branch out and boom, you're off again. Okay, so if you are interested in having that conversation, just raise your hand, go, hey, Russell, let's have a chat. If you can't find me, there's probably an issue, because I'm here on this video. You can put stuff in the comments. You can find me just about everywhere on social media, and so that's probably the best way to reach out. Reach out where you find me. What else is happening? All right, so yeah, LinkedIn. Go check out my LinkedIn newsletter. It's over there. It's called Beyond the Trusted Advisor. It is for specialists. So experts, specialists, consultants, specialist service providers, people who have an advisory position for the clients that they work with. You're all going to get a lot of value out of that newsletter. It's actually a very, very cool thing. We've got about 700 people signed up for it, who are all getting that opportunity as well. If you're not part of the Future Proof Business Group, and you are one of those people I just described, then come over here to Facebook, sign up for the Future Proof Business Group, and if you haven't already, check out YouTube. YouTube, you'll see Russell Pearson. That's me. My name is Russell Pearson, spelt the correct way, double S, double L, and you can subscribe to the videos there, and you'll get all sorts of things. The shorts, I don't know if you know about shorts, but shorts are things that you actually get. No, they're not the ones you wear. They're the ones you actually get on your phone, with these short little snippets that you can get. So you can get shorts over on YouTube. You can get the long form versions of what we do in Tactical Tuesday, but a whole bunch of other training that I do on YouTube as well. If weirdly you're on TikTok, I'm actually on TikTok. It's actually a heap of fun. TikTok's got some really cool filters that I use and I put through Instagram, so you can find me there. And you know what's cool about this content marketing stuff? Is it doesn't need to be difficult. I actually work very little on this content marketing, but I've got good at repurposing and repopulating it out to all these different places. And there's one more place I can tell you about, which is the Marketing Report podcast with Russell Pearson. If you are interested in podcasts, then look for that. Do a little search, Marketing Report, Russell Pearson, on your favorite podcast platform. Anything else I need to tell you about? One final thing. Content marketing. So I've just talked about all the different places that I'm doing content marketing. I just shared with you I'm not spending a lot of time to make it happen. And in fact, these days I get the majority of my sales, whether it be strategy work that I'm doing or whether it's people joining the Forge business program. It's usually from social media engagements, right? That didn't used to be the case, but then I learned a couple of really cool lessons. I got clear on a few keys that made all the difference. We are running a workshop next Thursday, so not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. I think it's the 5th of May. Just an hour, so 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And if you're interested in that, say something in the comments, and I'll send you a link, and you can book for that. It's absolutely free. But what we're going to look at is better content marketing. And the reason we're doing better content marketing is because there is a better way to do it than what I see almost everybody doing it. And why would you do better content marketing? Well, number one is to save time. And number two, it's to attract better clients. So if there's some clients that are annoying you, if there's some clients that are that are stealing your time, that are requiring and trying to take the time from you, if they're clients that are not easy to deal with, then you may be wanting a better quality of client. And one way, and the best way I've found to actually save time and get better clients is by getting better at content marketing. So if that's of interest to you, then put it in the chat, put in replay if you're watching this on replay, and ask for the link and I will send it across to you. And I'll see you on that call. Until next time, stay passionate and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.